Today's first episode of our new podcast, myself, Jonathan Terriano of Serhant South Shore. Only issue is we're having a little, tough time on what to call it. What is this going to be called, Jonathan?
That's a great question. I think I had an idea.
We had an idea of whatchamacallit.
Actually, that rings a bell because I think you say that a lot, bro. And I think anyone will attest to that.
For now, we're going to go with episode 1 of the Whatchamacallit podcast. I suppose that I tend to say that a lot. Some might have another opinion on a long list of things that I do say, but we'll save that for another time so he can roast me privately. Today we have Jonathan Terriano of Serhant and Mr. Serhant himself, John Walsh.
What's up? How you doing?
Of the newly introduced South Shore branch. In effect, what now? 48 hours? Today is what, the 4th? May the 4th be with you?
Yeah, I think we launched on the 2nd, which was Tuesday, and today's Thursday, right?
Yes.
So less than 48 hours, probably like 36 hours.
John and his team recently, you guys been doing real estate on Long Island now for what? Almost 7+ years?
Myself, I've been doing it for closer to a decade, probably about 9 years.
9 years?
Aging myself a little bit.
Yes.
And John, how long?
Right when COVID hit, actually. Yeah, so I'm pretty new to it, but...
Pretty new?
I feel like
you came in with the COVID rush?
Yeah, but I feel like I came in with a bang, so...
Absolutely. So I'm actually the preferred lender that works over with them for the last, I would say, a year or so. I'm on Team Rizzolo, Mr. Sal Rizzolo. You want to say?
I'll let you go.
They're supposed to hand him this mic. But no, we just want to talk a little bit about your change, the introduction to Serhant as a whole. I know it's a big deal, but I figured we'd do a little intro. So John Walsh, John Terriano, 2 realtors. We are the 2 lenders here at Cardinal Financial. John, what made you go with Serhant? I know there's a lot of options.
There's definitely a lot of options, but in my opinion, all those other options really aren't an option. Every single person I meet in real estate, and I think that we meet in real estate, are brokers for like 3 or 4 companies. That's it. You got your Douglas Elmans, your Signatures, your Exits, and your Keller Williams. That's pretty much it. That's all you got. Sure, every local town has like their own local company, but nationwide, Long Island wide, those are like the 4 main companies. And I just wasn't about that life of putting my business card down or sharing my contact card and being one of 10,000 agents in that company. That's not what I worked 10 years for. That's not what we've built our team for. So joining Serhant was a way to get that huge brand recognition and still keep that boutique style firm. And that's the number one thing there. And then obviously, it's Ryan Serhant. Everybody, even that doesn't watch, real estate TV all the time or doesn't, pay attention to real estate news all the time, pretty much everybody knows who Ryan Serhant is. If they don't, we just open up the computer, open up social media and say, this is who it is. Look at this $250 million listing. Look at what he's doing right now. And people are just blown away. So I think just with the brand recognition and the boutique style firm still, it was just a no-brainer.
So, I feel like, and I'm listening to it now, and I'm kind of just trying to connect a parallel, because when we came from our old bank to Cardinal, it was almost the exact same reason, right? So Cardinal as a bank nationally has its name, right? They have a huge footprint in the market and in the secondary market. They're a $1 billion company. They're owned by a hedge fund. So the reputation is there. People don't come to us like, oh, what is Cardinal? But as far as Long Island, we were the first Northeast Division branch to open, and then every branch thereafter on the East Coast is part of our division. So we were able to come in with the name and the backing and the support, but be able to build ourselves on Long Island. We weren't starting with, not to say a negative or a positive reputation at all, but we were able to take it and build it into what we wanted with the backing of a massive support. So it sounds almost identical to what you did with Serhant.
I would say so, and I think another great thing piggybacking off that is, they made a promise that we are the last Long Island company. So basically they have the Hamptons, which is technically their own branch, Montauk to Hamptons. It's not really the same business we do at all. They have Manhattan, which is their flagship store or office in Soho. We have North Shore, which is in Northport, and now we have South Shore. So we have those 4 locations that's just going to cover all of Long Island and Manhattan and Brooklyn, and pretty much it's just going to take over the South Shore, in my opinion. It's so boutique that people that don't like using your Douglas Ellimans and Signatures or Keller Williams because they're too big and they feel like maybe their transaction will get lost. They choose to use those local companies that, you know, they trust, those family companies that they trust. I believe Serhant is both of those combined. And I think with our team that we have now, I think we have 15 or 16 people now that we've built over the past few years. I think that we're going to bring that local knowledge and that local feel and that small family feel still, but have that huge nationwide brand behind us.
Yeah, and I think you guys already, you know, strive to do a good job at it. I mean, John himself is from East Islip. I grew up in East Islip. Everywhere I go, they know who John Walsh is just based off of him personally, as personable as you are, and like you stress the boutique specific, you know, like your agency is boutique. It's not, you know, we're not going to have a Serhant Bayshore, a Serhant East Islip, a Serhant Patchogue. You're going to be specific to the South Shore, one brand, and that's something that you've, I mean, built over the last, you know, over nine years, as you said. But everywhere I go, if you mention John Walsh locally, they know you just because of your participation in I'm not saying he's famous. I'm saying
he's famous, bro. He walks
or
down.
Country Village. I walk in
like
Country
Mr.
Village
McMahon.
or Mulberry Street. They
Everybody
know John
knows
Walsh.
who he
He's
is.
the local realtor. I'm not talking about, you know, I'm in California.
Country
they know John
Village
Walsh.
maybe. Country Village maybe. Anywhere else, I don't know.
He's the mayor of Country
If
Village.
you see somebody riding their scooter down the street, bro, it's John.
You are in East Islip.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Anthony is.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a
exactly.
good thing or a bad thing, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying it like that. I'm not tooting your toot your horn a little bit. But I got to ask, because I've always wondered this, and I know you guys are close now as we see. If you see John Walsh's Instagram, tons of Ryan Serhant photos. Arm in arm, hand in hand. How'd you meet that guy?
It was a weird, funny story, and I gotta give him credit. My boy Eric, who kind of like tricked me into this whole thing, and it just worked its way out. It was fate. I think I told John the story. I told everybody pretty much the story. So one day I get a DM or a text, I forget, from my boy Eric, who lives in East Islip with me, and he's like, "Why aren't you at the Islip Festival?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm working or something." He's like, "Your boy Ryan Serhant's here." And I'm like, "Why the hell would Ryan Serhant be there?" And then all of a sudden, like, I have a problem, like my mind just goes and then it doesn't stop. So I start thinking, oh my God, they just opened an agency in Bayshore. And Ryan Serhant is friends with the owner of the agency, and maybe he's trying to do something like he's trying to do, and he's opening up a South Shore, and I'm just going off of just literally him saying he's in Islip. I'm just going. So what do? I DM Ryan Serhant and say, "What are you doing in Islip?" And 2 pages of just like my plan for like what it would be.
You definitely voiced the text that, right?
Yes, 100%. Probably
Copy and paste.
100 million spelling errors, probably.
He does. He talks the text. It's essays.
100%. And it's, but why else? Why I can't use my fingers?
No,
my mind works faster than my fingers. So then I also reach out to Mike, who runs the Northport Serhant. Me and him have had a relationship for the past 2 years, just professional one. We never hung out or anything, but anytime we'd have a listing or something, we'd post about it, we'd share it, we'd DM each other about it, see if we had clients. We always tried to work together. So I reached out to him and I'm like, "What's Ryan doing in Islip? Like, I heard he's in Islip." So then I don't hear back from either one of them, obviously. The next day, I look at Ryan's Instagram, and it's all like multi-million-dollar townhouses in Brooklyn, $200 million condos in Manhattan. And I text my boy Eric. I'm like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" I'm like, "This guy was in Manhattan and Brooklyn all day yesterday." And he just dies laughing. He's like, "You actually fucking believe me?" And I'm like, "Are you serious?" So I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, I freaking DM this guy and the other guy, and he's dying. He's like crying, laughing. I'm like, oh my God. 4 hours later, Serhant responds, "That sounds like actually a great idea. Why don't you email me?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's got 2 million followers on Instagram. I'm like, I don't know how he even read that message. The guy Mike responds and says, "You know what? I just talked to Ryan about this. This could possibly work." And I'm just like, oh my God.
I
send a screenshot to my boy Eric, and he's like, "Bro," he's like, "You gotta hook me up. Commission. So then from there, it was just, a meeting here or there and just ideas spitballing back and forth. And then, before you know it, Mike was like, "I think this is something we should take to Ryan." So we went into Manhattan, we sat down with Ryan. Genuine, normal human being, which is surprising because sometimes you meet people that are famous and worth a lot of money, and you know, what do they say? Never meet your idol or something, because you're always going to be disappointed.
Never meet your heroes.
Yeah, it was the exact opposite. It was normal, chill guy, and everything that I said, he was just like, "Yes." Like, "What's your idea?" I said my idea. "Awesome, sounds great. I think you should do that. I think we should do this together." And I'm like, "Okay." And
That's wild.
it just took a little while of kind of bringing ideas together. But once the decision was made, it was made, and there was some things that happened in the meantime that we had to take care of personally. But in the end, we made the choice to move, and it's been a great 36 hours for sure.
Great response.
Yeah, a great response for sure.
Now, out of curiosity, so I've heard stories. I used to watch the show, but I remember hearing that that Serhant was very, very much like be what you want to be in the future. Don't be where you are now. Like, not necessarily fake it till you make it, but always put on an expensive suit. Always act like you have listings. Always act like like you're somebody that someone wants to deal with, and not beg somebody to want to deal with you, or vice versa. So, like, do you feel like that plays a part into why he is the way he is? Whereas, like, you meet people that come from money, or their families turn down the business, and that's where I see that air from people. Where, like, the way you expected him to be, those are the people that I meet that are like that, versus somebody who, busted their ass, got on a TV show, faked it till he made it, so to speak, and ended up where he is. Like, he tries to find the people like he remembers himself to be in people like you, as opposed to looking at the top of the ladder where people are already there.
To be honest, that's like kind of what their mission statement is. I wrote it down because obviously we've only been a member for 36 hours, so I don't know it. But it's reimagine real estate today for the neighborhood of tomorrow. So it's basically that. Like, he's planning for the future, and he wants it now. And the reason why, not just the brand and all that stuff of why we chose there, is all the tools that he's giving the agents. He's doing artificial intelligence. He's doing GPT.
Yep.
Like, some of the speeches that people gave at the party on Tuesday were generated by Chat GPT, like real estate, which is crazy.
Yep.
He built a mobile first platform so agents can work from all over the globe and just be synchronized everywhere. He actually has a metaverse. So if you put on those goggles, you can literally tour houses in virtual reality and have meetings in Microsoft Teams, like seeing each other. Like, what other companies doing that right now? I know everybody's saying they're going to do it, and everybody's like, yeah, we use Chat. Yeah, some guy randomly, some assistant went on Chat GPT and got a listing summary and put it up on that. That's how they're using it. They're actually using it to generate leads and actually do real big business.
Well, we joke about that all the time. Like, the people that have big things coming in 2023 are the same people that had big things coming in 2022. They've had big things coming forever. By the time the big things get here, what are we even waiting for? When you see somebody that's actually taking an initiative and creating this stuff, it's going to be rocky in the beginning because you're the first person to do it. The first person to do anything, it's never going to be as polished as the finished product. But if someone doesn't take a step, it's just never going to get done, and he's going to get a head start. Jonathan,
you've been to the Soho office. Like, explain the Soho office just opposed to like a regular real estate office, like with like the Soho with the studios downstairs and all the open desks and the phone booths and all that. And
yeah, it's so different than, I guess, what you would think and imagine, or what we're used to, just because I guess when you walk into an office, you think desks, right? Cubicles, or just people kind of like to themselves. And it's not very interactive. And when you walk in there, you feel like you're at home, even though we're totally new to the game, as far as that company goes. Everyone was so welcoming, and everything is just super open and modern. And it's just like, we feel like we're a part of a family that just got extended. I think what John had built, like you were saying before, Anthony, is like, it's a brand that he built, and I think goes back to kind of just like we have a bigger brand now on our back. And I think if you look back at so many successful companies, which I think you had a couple that you wanted to speak about, it's the brand, like what you're wearing on your head, what you're wearing on your shirt, what you guys are wearing, what you guys have made with your company. You've built a brand, like just with like the events that you've had, like people are gonna remember all that. Not everyone's doing that. That whole performance you put on, bro, like that was sick. Nobody has done that,
That was you?
I actually thought that was Eminem for a second.
Please don't.
It's
no, that reminds me. So when you said like you got to take a chance, right after I did that, I actually DM'd Eminem and I put a link to the song, and he like never fucking answered at all or even read it. So that's the end of that story. but you got to shoot your shot. You got to give it a chance. I even sent it to everyone from D12 too, and they got like 8,000 followers combined, and it still got nothing. So
I thought you were about to give us the Walsh story. Oh yeah, Eminem just answered. He's actually in the back studio. He's podcasting next. No, but I was going to ask you, Jonathan, just as a member of the team, and not as hands-on in the transition as John was, but like as a team, right? You guys have a solid brand. You're all together. Everybody's close. It is we're all close. Even me being the lender. But you guys got to be excited, no?
Oh yeah, big time, bro. I think, like I said, coming into John's office, it was already just a massive move for me, and just being so new to the game, like I said, I've always been someone to strive to be at the top, and I think John knows that, and I think that's probably why he, at least allowed to interview me.
That's why I'm here on the podcast.
Exactly. Like, John, you got to be on the show, bro, because don't kick me off the team, bro. But yeah, it's huge. Like, I always saw what they were doing before I was on their team, and I'm like, that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
I got to be on the next level. Like, and I put myself in that position, and he took the chance with bringing me on, and everyone in our office has different assets.
Of course.
We always all have a lot to learn. Him and I were talking about that yesterday. He learned stuff from us, even though he's been in the game for so long, and we're always in there trying to bounce ideas off of each other. I think now with this on our back or on our chest, it's gonna just elevate us to the next.
I like that.
To the next level.
That was good. That was clever. You came up with that just now?
I did.
I think that you couldn't have been said better. So like the way that I felt coming into our industry, like what a lot of people do when they sign on and they don't sign on with the team and they want to go independent, right? They feel like, I got this under control, right? But they don't realize when I came into the industry, I was on a team, and now my team is part of a division, and that division is part of a company, right? So where Serhant has you guys working a team underneath him, and you have people working a team underneath you, and you'll have a transaction assistant or a coordinator or whatever, whether you like it or not, or you call it one thing or not, semantics, you always have to be a part of something bigger, and you always want to be surrounded by people that are doing more business than you. So you're going to look to Serhant as your end goal, you're going to look to John as your end goal, and then once you get there, if you want to look even further, you look further, right? But if you don't have somebody to look at as to where you're going, so I've always said the same thing with Anthony, and the few people that have searched me out and come to me, you believe in the brand, you believe in the ability of the brand to bring you to the highest level that you want to get to, and then you believe in John to bring you there, because John sorted out, and John, how many people came with you?
I think 15 or 16.
Did you have more than that?
Out of 17.
Right.
Pretty much every single person.
Right. So
every single person that did a transaction. I think the one person that didn't come just wasn't even part-time. They were part-time.
They might not even know that you switched over
transaction. I don't know if I told them, actually.
Did email got left in spam?
Got deleted.
So, but that's got to make you feel good as a team leader to know that you made a decision, and I'm sure, maybe some people knew about it, some people didn't, but the second day you decided what you were going to do, it wasn't even a question. And that's how our dinner was, right? On Monday, we start at a new company, everybody needs to be here instead of there. And then just everybody shows up. And it goes to show, you started by yourself, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
So just, an outlook, or the same type of thing that happened to me over the years. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I've always been a big believer in, you can't do everything by yourself. You can't.
You shouldn't. You
can't.
really shouldn't want to.
1 in a million, might do that, but I'm never going to be afraid to say that I asked for help. I'm never going to be afraid to ask questions. I'm never going to be afraid to sit back and, follow somebody while I need to, because I'll eventually know that I'm going to get there. I know that I'm going to get there eventually.
And you'll get there a lot quicker.
And I think to piggyback off that and what you said, so I'll address what you said first, because I couldn't agree with it more. You never want to be the smartest person in the room, ever. And you never want to be the top producer in the room, ever. And it got to the point where, this is not being cocky or not being whatever. It was just for 5 straight years, it was, okay, so what do I have to beat? My numbers from last year? And what do I have to beat this month? My numbers from this month? And it just got to the point where I was getting bored. I was getting relaxed, I was getting comfortable, I was getting lazy, and I was like, this is not a good feeling, this is not a good look. And I just felt myself, listen, I was making great money, my money was probably increasing too, because I was adding more team members and stuff, but me inside, I was dying a little bit, every day.
Thing every day.
Yeah, and it's just how many times can I get the same rejection? How many times can I get the same customer? How many times can it's all the same now? So it's I needed a change, and I'm sure, as successful bankers, you try to get poached all the time. As successful agents, people throw stuff at you all the time. I was getting offers all day, every day. 6-figure bonus checks thrown at me. Yeah. I denied them all because I didn't want what they were offering. Right. I had to go work for somebody else. I had to switch offices. I had to do this.
Thing.
Yeah, it's not what I wanted to do. But when this opportunity came along with somebody who I consider like, as weird as it might sound, he's like an idol. He's like a hero of mine. Like, you got Tom Brady, you got Ryan Serhant, you got Gary Vee. Those are my guys. That's it. So those are my people. And all of a sudden I'm talking to one, and all of a sudden he wants to partner with me. Like, it was just bananas. And that's why I agree with you with surrounding yourself with successful people and not being the smartest person in the room. And then with Jonathan, what he said about like never being shy, asking for help, I gotta be honest, he probably asks the most questions. He comes up to the office all the time, just sits down, and he's just like, what are you doing? And just like, hey, I got this situation. And like, he's not ashamed to ask for help. You got people in the office that are like just working on something that should have taken 10 minutes for 4 hours because they're ashamed to ask for help, and they want to figure it out themselves and then prove to you that they're like amazing, which, okay, cool. Or you can just come and we could chat. And
maybe I've just figured out that if I make pretend I don't know what I'm doing, someone would do it for me.
You guys must hang out outside of work, right?
I'm out. Let's have Sal give me some credit. Go ahead. Tell him how great I am and ask him questions.
No, Anthony is great. I mean, I learn from Anthony all the time. Like, I have actually learned how many times your phone can ring between 9:01 a.m. and 10 a.m. from one phone to another, and it's impressive. Right? So, but
just to ask what you were wearing.
No,
he does.
Yeah.
Hold on.
He did. He called me to ask what I was wearing.
Does he? If you text him, does he call you back? Like, I don't want to call.
He
back.
doesn't
I want to
text.
text.
He doesn't know how to do that.
I don't understand.
I respect
like,
it. I'd rather call, bro.
He's an old man.
My microphone.
Call,
No, he'll call and then he'll text and be like, "Hey, call me back."
Yeah, call me real quick.
And then he'll send you an email.
Important.
I got a quick question. I'm like, first of all, if it's a quick question,
just text
email it to me
or
text it to me. If it's not a quick question, I will call you back in the order in which it was received. Like, that's how we.
Bro, I text him. I was at the gym. And I text him. I'm like, yo, I can't pick up him at the gym. He goes, oh, me too. And then I wrote something. I'm like, oh, by the way, this now something like not important at all. No. He goes, yeah, that's why I wanted to call you about. I'm like, bro, we could have just texted about it real quick.
All right, so just let's. I wish the cameras could see. I could pull up the John Walsh text. John Walsh text like this. Yo, so today at 9 o'clock I'm gonna do this, and then at 12 o'clock I'm gonna do this, 3 o'clock I'm gonna do this. Period. 4 o'clock. Okay. All right. Reply. Text reply. I can't reply to an essay in 30 seconds. Just call me, bro. It's 2023. Just call me and do the same thing. You're a different scenario than him. Him, Sal. I'll do a lot of. Yo, Sal. I know this answer in the back of my head.
No, this is the best part.
I need you to tell me.
He'll come in and he'll ask me a question. He'll tell me that he knows the answer to it. I'll just stare at him. He'll say the answer, and then he just leaves. So he'll be like, "Yo, quick question. So like, I know FHA. I know we could do this, but you can't do this, right? Right? Yeah, no.
He's like,
That's the whole conversation. Like, there's a 50-50 shot that if I answer Anthony's phone call and I don't say anything, he would never know that I wasn't even listening to him. He'll just say what he needs to say, answer his own question, hang up the phone, and then handle the thing. And then he'll do stuff like, "Hey, call me back. Branchinelli is suspended. I know how to fix it." That's it. I know what I need to know now. You told me that. I don't have to call you back.
Hey, why do you have to call
It's
me back?
suspended. You know what you need to do to fix it. Go do what you got to do to fix it. So what we're working on personally is how to streamline daily issues into one phone call at one specific time.
They come on they're spontaneous.
Like a 20-minute just like brain session you guys should have together at like 3 p.m. and then that's it.
But it's a good thing. So this is where it benefits Anthony, because Anthony has to fix a problem the second it becomes a problem, which is good, right? I've never seen somebody call borrowers back with bad news as fast as he does. And it's never like bad news. It's just like, hey, you thought this, but you thought this, or the house is this and the house is this, whatever. But like, he almost calls them too soon. Like, we got to figure out a solution before you call somebody, because half the time it's not as big of a deal as he thinks it is. And
that's what I'm working on.
right. So
and that's one thing that I talk to the agents about is like we have some agents that will overreact about things that they think are deal killing things. We won't mention names. Maybe we'll bring them on the podcast at some point.
Yeah, even on the golf course.
Yeah, even on the golf course, they'll walk off the golf course trying to fix the deal.
I was going to hear you talk about me and that person together.
Yeah. So we have people, and I try to stress to them, like, you never want to be the person calling to deliver a problem. You want to be the person calling to deliver a solution.
Which he does.
So let's talk about it first between us for 20, 30 minutes. Let's figure, if it's a lawyer thing or a bank thing, let's talk to the lawyer and the banker first. Let's figure out if they're working on it. Let's come up with a solution. Then let's call our client and say, hey, this came up. but here's the solution. And then you're like, damn, you guys are awesome. But that's great. That's something.
I'm not calling something the
deal's dead. But before that, he calls me and he says, I think this deal is dead.
But at least he calls you first.
So when I answer him and I said, all right, let's start this conversation with a deal has never died on us ever. We've never had a purchase loan that we pre-approved through underwriting that died. So with that said, and after you've closed 350 loans in the past 2 years, tell me about your deal that's dead. And then he takes a step back, and I'm like, no, do this, this, and this. How about this? Call them and ask them this, and then the deal closes. But we're almost through that phase.
That's why you guys are at the top.
This is Sal's usual thing. I walk in.
This is actually an intervention.
This is a roast of whatever. We're on Comedy Central. This is what literally happens. I walk into Sal's office. He doesn't turn to me because he's just typing. He knows what I'm here for.
He knows you're going to answer your own
knows exactly
question.
what I'm here for. He's probably on the email that just came through that says, XYZ, we just need this. I know why I need it or what I'm going to get to resolve the problem. I walk in. I usually pause for like 5-10 seconds. All right, he's not going to turn his head. Yo, XYZ alone, I just got to get this, and this. And then he neck whips. What do you think? What is your head telling you? And then I don't respond. Nod my head yes. I walk out back to my office. That's the usual.
That's the day to day.
That's how it usually goes. But I'm a big overthinker. Big overthinker. We don't lose any deals. We have up and down.
Bro. But honestly, I think we're lucky to have you guys. To work with her. And I don't know if you want to tell the story of how we connected, but.
I'm trying to think.
Everything has
me
been
and you, or
well.
me and Walsh. I mean, me and you. I just DM you on Instagram.
Yeah, you slid into my DMs,
That's
bro.
so weird, bro.
What's up, bro? You're kind of cute.
Yeah. I like that wolf hat.
Yo, quick question.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think. I think when I first started. I mean, how many years ago was this? This was before Cardinal. I was just DMing people. I mean, and then me and you realized we knew Vin.
That's right. Yeah, we had a mutual friend or a few.
Shout out Vin. Don't know what you're doing right now. But I'm trying to think how me and you.
I think me and you met through Jake.
Through Jake, probably.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, no, actually, it's even funnier. Me and John used to talk in a group chat.
That's right. That's how we all connected.
About NFTs and like all this.
2001.
These
Yeah, that's right. So I think you and I were working on something. I was already over here, and you were like, "John, I think I'm in a group chat with this guy talking NFTs."
We were almost millionaires multiple times.
Yeah.
Very close.
Almost, very close.
And then I mentioned to him that I mentioned to you, John, that I think I was working with him. You're like, I don't know who you're talking about.
And then I was like, wait, and then I don't know. And then I think I texted you one time, and then all of a sudden our group chat came out. I'm like, wait, this guy's in this group chat with Jake and Ricky, and I'm like, what the hell?
I would call you and be like, what is?
You're like, how do I get out of this shit coin?
Yeah, how do I just dumped $2,500 into this. Like, it's one of those, like you see like the code. It's like YX4, like 75 letters and numbers. How do I get my money back, John? I don't know how to get my money back. And we get on like 10-15 minute conversation. Yeah. That was it. And then I remember where I was actually.
I think you were in Jake's office, like
something like that.
Yeah, because you were with Jake, and we were FaceTiming, I think.
Yeah, I don't even know what it was. Maybe it was like Jake's dad deal or something like that.
Yeah,
and then you gave me an opportunity to come in, and then.
Oh yeah, that's where the deal. That's where the real opportunity came when a deal died for Jake's family. Something about a purchase that Jake was very close to Jake. And then all of a sudden he gave it to you, and they couldn't close it. And within like 7 days, it was cleared and closed with you guys. And I was like, okay. I'm like, maybe that's right. But I did have a lender when we first met, and I'm a very loyal guy when it comes to that. I'm not going to mention who it was, but I was with them for 7 years, and until they decided to not work with me anymore, I was going to still work with them. That's just who I am. And unfortunately, a recession was coming, and inflation was coming, and people wanted to cut costs, and they called me up and they wanted to cut costs, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me. If we're going to do less transactions, how are we going to make a living with less leads? And so we need to be doubling down, and he did not want to do that. So we kind of broke up, and we just kind of explored options, and there was really only one option. We went straight to Anthony, and since then it's been good. Here we are. Yeah, here we are. Now we're doing podcasts.
So I remember two things. One, I remember that deal. I remember it was 10% down. The guy didn't want to put that much money down, but he had to. Not only did we get the deal in, we did credit repair. He was able to put down 3.5%. I think we saved him like $90,000 out of pocket, and he was dancing at the closing. I remember that, and we closed it in like 10 days. I remember the last name and everything. So I remember that being the opportunity, right? And then I remember Anthony came to me, and he was like, "Yo, I've never really like spent money like this to try to get business, do you think it's a good idea? Like, I know this guy, I don't know him too well, but I know him through friends and mutual friends. Like, this is what it would be. I would get exclusive access to the office, and it would all be legit. He's like, I just don't know. And I said, dude, if like you have to spend money to make money is literally the first thing that anyone teaches you about anything.
First rule in any business.
Right? So a lot of, the problem in this market now is like a lot of people, including myself for a few months there, it's like you didn't have the money saved to double down on the business, right? But shame on anyone in that position as a lender from 2020 to 21, because if you weren't saving money when you were making money, like for us as younger lenders, like the writing wasn't on the wall for us as much because we didn't live through it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the older lenders or people that have been in the business, like the guys that we work for, like they seen this thing, they seen this coming a mile away. Like I didn't know what 3% interest rates meant. I see it now and I'm like, how did we not know that, like, not only was this not going to last, but it was going to go completely in the opposite direction and fast. Like you suppress things for so long, the only way to unsuppress them is to go just as far in the opposite direction. So with everything that's going on, I mean, you guys are doing significant business compared to, I mean, anyone. Like now, like back when numbers were good, the average realtor did a deal every 2 months. Like that was the numbers on Long Island. So now it's up to a deal every 6 months. Half of us are surrendering our licenses, and you guys are expanding, which is insane, right? And we're doing the same thing here, and that's like I feel like Anthony wouldn't have done it without you guys, and I would like to think that in some way you would have done it less or not as quickly without Anthony, because we try to take as much of the guesswork out of you guys when it comes to the finance side of things.
I agree with that. He's always available, whether it's Sunday afternoons or Sunday nights, and Saturday. Real estate. This is one of my pet peeves over the last 10 years of doing this. Like, I'm a true believer in real estate's a weekend sport. So when you're a banker or an attorney and you're going to tell me you're Monday through Friday 9 to 5, you're out. Like, I don't care if you're a nice person or not, you're just out. Yeah. So that's why the attorney I use, Rob Caputo, shout out to Rob, he's the best. He literally will be Sunday night at 8 o'clock. He'll be calling me like, bro, we got an issue. He's like, you available? I'm sorry to bother you. I'm like, you're sorry to bother me? I'm like, you're calling me. What are you doing? You got your family, it's Sunday night at 8 o'clock. But he's like, we got to take care of this. And then he's like, yo, you want to conference in Anthony? And it's like, we're just talking, we just chat, and we all come up with solutions like we were talking about before. We don't just call our clients with problems, we come up with solutions. We just had a crazy intense deal that just closed in East Islip recently. It was going on for a while with some open permits and escrow deals and stuff, and you know what, and it was Rob's family member as well, was another side of the transaction. So our sellers were actually buying his family's house, and it was just a lot of emotions involved and a lot of dominoes involved. Plus there was open permits, plus there was escrow, and it was just a disaster, but we all kept our cool and we all worked together and we saved it and it closed and everybody's happy now. So, and I think just to kind of spin off from where we were going, you said, just like you guys are doing more business than a normal bank in this market, which is crazy and great, and we're doing more business than a normal brokerage that has our amount of agents. And I think the biggest thing is branding, and that's why we joined the company that we joined. And we were just talking real quick about the Wintervention and the workaholics and the events. I've never seen a bank. When I think of like a banking event or something, I'm like, I do not want to go to that. Why? People always ask me these stupid events. I will never go. I hate it. I've been doing this for 10 years. I hate it. But when I get like your invites to, I'm like, this is gonna be sick. And then you go and there's 500 people there and you're doing live performances. I'm like, what the hell is this? Yeah, like Travis is breaking his pants.
Pomegranate was there.
Pomegranate
was there. He showed us. He didn't show his face, right?
No.
Travis tried to grab his pants.
We got a picture.
Oh my God. So yeah, it's just awesome what you're doing, and I think it just shows how big branding is in everything. And I know you might not be a fan, or somebody might not be a fan of Gary Vee, but like branding is life. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're at a coffee shop. It doesn't matter if you're a bank, a realtor, a gas station. If you're not a brand and if you're not branding yourself, you're leaving money on the table. And I know I don't want to go off into like an NFT tangent like I can go off for a long time. We could cancel this podcast, start another one and just do NFTs, but I am just going to bring up one real quick, Pudgy Penguins, which is one of my favorites. And it's a funny name, but it's literally just cute little penguins. Like there's 8,888 of them. This guy, Luca Nets actually purchased them for $2.5 million in 2021.
All 88 or all 8,000?
So he purchased the IP. So 8,888 are owned by individuals. So like you can own one, you can own one. He purchased the actual intellectual property of the Pudgy Penguins for $2.5 million. Right now, 2 years later, through one of the worst bear markets of all time, it's worth $75 million. So what he's doing is he's actually taking Web3, which is NFTs, crypto, and stuff like that, and merging them with Web2, which is Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You would think that's like common sense, right? It's not. People who are doing crypto and NFT, they're keeping themselves in Web3 because Web3 is so cool and Web3 is the future, and we don't need those Web2 losers. But you do if you're building a brand and you want to be recognized. So he's got 500,000 followers on Instagram. He gets 20,000 likes on these. After this, you got to follow him. It's like these little videos about like penguins, and they're so funny. It's like husband and wife penguin, and like the alarm goes off, and they get like mad. It's just like these little like little joke things. And
do you own one?
Of course I own one.
Yeah, like,
come on, of course.
Like
I'm actually. This is not financial advice, but I'm a big fan of the project. But another thing that they're doing in real life events. So like, you know, you can actually feel people. The reason why people hate NFTs and crypto, it's not real to them. It's fake. You can't touch it. It's not real. He's making toys on Amazon, plushie dolls and stuff. So basically, he's making it an actual real brand where 90% of the other NFTs are just JPEGs. They're just, you know, these pictures that nobody understands and nobody realizes why they're worth any money at all. And you only have 1.2 million active users on OpenSea, I think, right now. Yet there's 80 million JPEGs on there. So how are you supposed to be a successful company with his 8,088 JPEGs on there, and there's 1.26 users, but 80 million JPEGs? Like, how are you selling and how are they going up? It's building a brand.
It's branding.
It's
There's
branding.
8 billion people on Earth, and there's only 1 million famous people, or whatever the case is. So the numbers are probably the same, if not even, you know, more
for
impressive
sure.
when you think
And
about it.
when you look at the Web3 and Web2 aspect of it, and the social media and why he attacked the social media, there's only 1.26 million on OpenSea, but there's 4.9 billion people that use social media.
Right.
Like, those are people that probably don't know how to buy an NFT, but you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna buy the cute toys. They're gonna buy that Pudgy Penguins hat. They're gonna buy this, and then they're gonna be like, "Wait, this is an NFT. Let me learn more." Maybe they'll buy an NFT, but you know what's gonna happen to the NFT holders while you are buying the toys? Not only does the value go up, but the IP value goes up. And if somebody buys a toy and it's your Pudgy Penguin, you get a percentage of that sale. So you actually make money off of that. So all these 8,000 people, I think there's only like 56% unique ownership. So let's just say 4,000 people that own them. All these people have the potential to make a full business off each one of their penguins.
So how much is one of those going for now?
Right now, I think the floor price is around 4.2 ETH. Pretty much all NFTs trade on the Ethereum network. So you're talking about like $7,000, 7,500.
Now, was it? So it went from 2.5 million to 75 million. So if that's whatever, 33% or 3.3%, does that mean that when you got it, if you would have got it in the beginning, was it that much cheaper?
So it was like dirt cheap because all NFTs, they like mint at very cheap, and then once the community grows, it gets higher because supply and demand. But when he bought the company, I want to say they were around like 2 or 1.8 ETH. Don't quote me on that, but it was much lower. I think when I first got into the project, it was around like 2.6 ETH, and now they went all the way up to like 7 when they went on like a run. But then they pulled it because that was the whole market's pulling back. But they're still up significantly, and they really trend between like 4 and 5 ETH during any given day. So it's doubled the holder's value too. If you got in at the right time. So just overall, it's just bananas what he's doing. See,
like that's what we said. So like when we talk brand, and what I started, picking a way that I wanted to be seen and picking a way that I wanted to get out there, and it started from Charles. I'm sure you know Charles. Mm-hmm. I remember sitting with Charles, and Charles was basically similar to Ryan for you. Like I met him, I never thought that I'd get on the phone with him. Someone reached out to him and had him call me. So now he's calling me, and he's like, "I heard you needed to talk." I'm like, "Yeah, I wanted to ask you something about my house, but it's I know you're busy. Where do you live? I'll come by." Right? Came by, called me randomly out of nowhere. Whatever. Fast forward the story. He's like, "You need to get on Instagram. You need to get on Instagram." And then it became like he'd call me and be like, "What are you doing? I'm not going to give you any more advice if you don't do what I'm telling you to do. You need to get on social media." Right? So like, he called me one day and he was like, "Hey, I have to lay off one of my employees in my social media department before I let them know. I want to know if you're interested. You'd be the first contact that they would talk to, and that was Levy. He's not here.
Wow, nice.
So that's how I hired Levy. Full-time salary out of nowhere after we've had $0 in marketing budget and marketing spend, and it was definitely not something in the cards because the market was on its way down.
Yeah.
But it was like a double down kind of thing, right? And Levy's the one that pushed me. He's like, "Come on, we got to go film a video." So I filmed it once. I'm like, "Let's do it over." He's like, "No, it's fine." Like, would walk away. I'm like, "No." He's like, "It's fine. This one's fine." Right? We started advertising for the party. We did the whole workaholics thing started before I met Levy, and then we started advertising for the party with him. And when the party was a success, we like accidentally came up with the idea for Wintervention when I joked around about putting Johnny in a closet, and that just spiraled. And it was, we sat and we thought about it, but the amount of like feedback and people that know us, and like there was something on, it wasn't like Barstool Sports, but it was like a similar thing for Patchogue, and one of the kids that was being interviewed had on one of the sweaters.
Oh, wow.
And was like, someone was like, "Oh, what is this?" And he's like, "Oh, you don't know what this is? Follow Sauerzola." Like, that's insane to me, right? Yeah, it is. So when I talk to realtors, if there's a realtor on Long Island that has social media, at this point there's like a 50% chance that they follow me. We had Cardinal put Team Rizzolo on the pre-approvals at the bottom. This way, if these guys have a pre-approval out there, at least they know that they're with us, and our reputation supersedes our relationship with Charles and all that stuff. So the branding, whether you start at the bottom or you take some sort of initiative from somebody else and build off of it, it's absolutely transformed, like, completely our business. So that's why it makes total sense for me, like what you guys are doing, and I think it kind of like aligns what we're doing with what you're doing, and just the idea of how important it is. So
yeah, no, I agree. It's crazy because like what you're saying, you kind of gotta just take the initiative, right, and start. So we were saying earlier, and like what John did with what's going on with us, but with the whole social media thing, it's like you never know who's watching or if somebody's watching. In my head, I'm always like, no one's gonna be watching the videos that I post.
I only have 300
Nobody
followers. Like,
sees this. And over the last few weeks, I've had a good amount of people come, "Hey, you've been posting these little mic'd up videos. I don't know, you've probably seen them. You've seen them." And I'm like, holy shit, like people actually pay attention. Like we don't think so. Like maybe they're just scrolling through. We think they're just scrolling through, but like that was good. That was funny. Like we've posted a couple clips with Levy, and they're like, "Yo, that's actually good. Like you're starting a podcast." I'm like, I was thinking about it, but now that people actually think that I was going to get into that, I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should do that because people watch.
It all comes back to, all stems back to the branding, but the same thing. Like I posted on social media before, like right now, nature of this business, right? You're not seeing as many transactions, whatever the case may be, but everybody and their mother, whether you're an attorney, an agent, a home inspector, a banker, you're posting something on social media, whether to tell people that this is what you do, whether to talk about a transaction or something you were involved in, whether you're hosting an event, one way or another, you're doing something. I had, when it first started, I wasn't posting ourselves. Like you got me into posting myself by all of our wonderful acting, and I'm really not a terrible guy for those of you who've seen Sal promote me, but
I wish he was that way.
To give an example of that stuff, it literally works. Like even the videos for Wintervention, like we would go to networking groups before the party actually took place, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're Anthony, you're the guy, you're the asshole." I'm like, "Yeah, it's an act. That's an act. I'm not really that guy, but it works." And then, like, for example, even before the videos, I was posting on like my Instagram because I was in, let's just say I started doing this. Technically, I got licensed. I was like 24, 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. I was like, all right, I'm gonna post. Probably lose some followers. Not everyone's gonna be like, what the hell is this kid posting this for? Why is this kid so annoying? Why does he have 10 stories a day? The purpose was to be like, all right, I need everybody that does follow me to know what I do for a living. And also we're in an age group where, all right, within the next 5 to 7 years, hopefully everybody's looking to buy a house, and they're like, oh, that pain in the ass on social media who's blowing up my feed, let me call him. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. I mean, and it's literally worked. I've had people from high school, that are maybe 3 years older than me or a couple years that don't even.
They just knew you.
They just like DM me. They're like,
oh,
I know your name. I don't really know where else to start. Can I at least ask you questions? I'm more than happy to help you with that. That's how it starts. It's because I posted some stupid thing on social media, and that's not unfortunately, but that's what the world technically is right now. And at the end of the day, I mean, as we're seeing and as Sal mentioned, it seems like a lot of people, over the last when did this technically start? Rates kind of started going up early last year. You see less transactions. You see people phasing themselves out of the industry, looking for side job, whatever it is. and for you guys to basically have now take this step in an opposite direction to, expand is, going to make the difference, in my opinion.
Awesome. I truly believe that as well. I have a quick question for you guys, because I've heard both sides of the argument, and a guy like Grant Cardone will use the word like omnipresent, like you should be everywhere at all times, and you should post 82 times a day or something, like overkill it. And like I said, the people who don't want to follow you, they weren't going to buy from you anyway or use you anyway, so they're going to unfollow you. So the people you have left are like the people that actually like you and would use you. What do you think about the people and like the realtors or bankers that literally post, like, I feel like there's some people where I'm scrolling through my feed, and for every like 10 other people, I see one of their videos. So I see like 7 of their videos as I'm scrolling, and I'm like, does this really work for them? Because I feel annoyed. I feel personally attacked by this person right now. Like why? Like, I'm not gonna unfollow them because that would look weird and I don't want to be that guy. But like, I don't know. Is there such thing as too much social media, or is there a happy medium somewhere?
So when we started, and I've battled with this. Like when I did social media, I like said to myself, like, I told Charles, I'm like, if I do social media, I don't want to do it like everybody else does it. Like, I might be better, I might be worse, but I just want to be different, because I just don't want, like, I'm in mortgages. I don't want to post 4 times a day. Interest rates ticked up today,
With
point
CNBC on the
22
background.
bips, right? Call me for a pre-approval for whatever. But I was on my way out of the being a loan officer, and I wanted to get into managing. So like, I took an approach where I feel like people in the industry would look to me as an authority, versus people looking to buy homes would come to me for a mortgage, right? But so I think it's different for like realtors versus lenders, where it's like, I mean, realtors and lenders versus managers or team growers, because like your goal as a manager is to appeal to the industry, right? Their goal is to appeal to the end user. So when you're appealing to the end user, I think you do want to be in their face as much as possible before they unfollow you because they're annoyed. But remember too, an end user does not have 40 different realtors that they follow. They usually follow 1 or 2. So if you give them knowledge and something that they're looking for, right? Throw something funny in there, or throw something humanizing in there. Don't just always post graphs or always post charts. I don't think that it's bad to have 4 or 5 stories every day, but I do think that like when I started, like half of the skits that I didn't have me in them. Like, that was the whole gimmick, was like, I told these guys, I said, I'm going to disappear. You guys are going to send me away on vacation. And for 45 days, I'm not going to be in a single video. You guys are going to be in videos, and people are going to know who you guys are, right? And it fucking worked, right? So then when I came back now, like, we have something else planned that I think is going to be hysterical. But I think I'm the funniest person I know. So I have to, I still have to figure it out once I post it. But
All we want to know, the people want to know, is there going to be a song?
there's actually might be 2 songs.
Not one.
Not 2. We're aiming for a full EP, but that it could take 3 years. But no. So I think that it's one or the other. You're either gonna go high quality and scarce, so that people are waiting for you to post, or you're gonna go not low quality, but just you can't do high quality and do 5 posts a day. It's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
We're realtors and lenders. We're not movie stars, right?
Yeah.
But if you're gonna post something, like if you want to constantly be in, like, you know, post something in the car on your way to a showing, or post a story. But I just think it's important to stay away from the same thing that everybody else does, and it's important to just remind yourself or analyze who your target market is, and make sure that everything is geared towards them, from the content itself to how often you post it and when you post it and why you post it, right? So your content is going to be different. You're relatively new in the industry, right? You don't want to talk about what it's like to become a millionaire and where people's money should be. Nobody wants to hear that from you because you're new, right? Same thing with me. When I first started in the industry, I'm not going to tell somebody what time to wake up in the morning and how to get their day started. I'm a mess. No one wants to hear that from me, right? So I think that you could post as much as you want, as long as it's geared, targeted, and analyzed for the people that you're trying to appeal to. I don't know if that's a dance around the question.
No,
but
I think that was good, and I think you said something that I want to touch base on, because I completely agree as well. Don't make the same content as everybody else. On the same topic of some people posting too much, and I tell them all the time, like, I don't understand it. People will take Like they'll take like a more famous person. Again, I'll go back to Gary Vee because he's got so many followers. They'll take a Gary Vee background of an article, Gary Vee's exact words that he's talking. And they'll now put that background there, and their head will be in an article, and they'll say the same. And then that person who's the mid-level famous on Long Island will then have 3 other realtors that follow that person, and they'll have the same background with the same thing. And I'm like, what is happening?
Before you know it, we're all marrying the house, dating the rate, and cheaping his rent is 100% ownership and whatever.
Exactly.
No, so what I like to do is I'm sure you've seen it, I like to take those and just fucking shred them. Yeah. So for better or for worse. Okay, so renting is 0% ownership, or renting is 100% interest. It's really not, though. Let me explain to you why it's not, and doesn't make it right or wrong to buy. It never makes it right or wrong to buy, but it's always based on your situation, right? So if you could take something that everyone is saying and explain that to people, that to me, anyone could do that. You could be new, you could be old, you could be seasoned, whatever, but if you can take something that everyone is saying and make people explain it instead of just using it as a pitch, like I tell these guys all the time, like, don't get on the phone and say, hey, it's never a bad time to buy. You know, we'll get married, the house, date the raid, we'll refinance you later. Like, explain to people why that makes sense, why that's okay. So that, I think, is a good idea for content, is to kind of debunk or analyze and give out information based on what everyone else is saying.
I feel like that's something that Jonathan talks about on one of his, I think the last time he was here doing a video, I'm pretty sure it was you who said, the question was like, when's the best time to buy or something? And the answer was like, when it's right for you. Like,
right, your situation.
So I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think going back to like the posting thing, I think you just got to post whenever you feel like you got to post, or whenever you feel like comfortable too. Like, obviously try to do it as often as possible, but you go to the gym super early sometimes, right? Like,
try.
I had no idea.
You know what I mean? Right.
Does he go with Edgar?
Right. Yeah, he goes with Edgar. Actually, Edgar works at over. They're like best friends, actually. But
pals in the zone.
But it goes back to like what you were saying. Like, not everybody has their shit together the same way that we think they should have their shit together. You go to the gym at 5 a.m. Someone's gonna see that and be like, oh damn, like that's gonna motivate me to get up and try to go, maybe not at 5 but 9. Some people can't wake up that early. Some people like to go in the evening, but like it helps posting, not just when it comes to real estate, but when it comes to other aspects of life. Like that's like we were saying before, we might not think people are watching, but they're always watching, and that's gonna help somebody in a way that we have absolutely no idea, that it will push them to become a little bit better for themselves every day,
I think I probably post too much about non-real estate. I think like maybe 5% of my posts and stories are real estate, and like Steph yells at me all the time for that. Like she's like, do you even like post anymore? Because I do like 20 stories a day, and I just like 4 a.m. I'll be up at 2 a.m. I'll just write some dumb shit. Like it's just what's in my head.
That to me is better, because it's like you're a real person. It's like, hey, I'm not just a machine talking about real estate all day, every day.
I feel like people actually might read it.
It's personal. I'm a normal person. Look, I'm here with my kids, or I'm at the gym in the morning, or like you're sick and you're talking about it. Like, oh, he's a normal person. He's not just
flag
selling
football
his
with
house.
The kids and like t-ball, and like I feel like everybody should know that. I mean, we're not just selling real estate. We are kind of selling ourselves, and we are. I'm a human. You're a human. If you work with me, like we'll talk about sports. We'll talk about the economy. We'll talk about stuff that maybe some people NFTs. Yeah, we'll talk your head off about NFTs. Hey, if you want to bring up politics, I'll talk about politics with you. Not on this podcast.
Nope,
but
here today.
Not here today. But clients, they want to. I don't care. Like whatever you want to talk about. I'm a real human, and I'll talk about it with you.
That was always my. Oh, what do you think about this election? I'd be like, what do you think?
yeah, exactly.
Because if I'm trying to earn your business, I think whatever you think.
On a listing appointment, I right when I'm walking in, I look at bumper stickers.
Yeah.
I look at them. I see like a police flag with a blue stripe. I know exactly where I'm going with this, and it's like I see something else. I know exactly where. And you're a chameleon sometimes,
But that's what you said. So you said, when you post random things during the day, like. You as a team leader, or you as a manager, if you're trying to appeal to listings, right, or to people that want to come work for you, like it helps to post just sold in the areas, right? Maybe just sold in Brookhaven, put it on Instagram, boost the post, target Brookhaven, whatever, right? But as a realtor, if you're trying to appeal for your, to buyers, right? Buyers I can promise you, people just scroll right past that. Like you want it for your portfolio, you want it on your Instagram, but no one wants to see a story where they just keep tapping and it's like just sold, just told, my team did this, my team did that. Like it's better to have what you're doing during the day talking about something that happened. I can't believe that this happened. I'm learning this for the first time, whatever. But people would rather see that than, every once in a while you throw in the post so they know what you do. But all of that is just numbers, even to me, right? Like I don't see, if I'm not involved in the deal, I don't know, or necessarily it doesn't affect me as an industry professional that you're selling this or selling that. Just the fact that you're doing it, which is important.
Yeah. I definitely think that people do miss the post-sauna sweaty me and Edgar pictures on Instagram at 5:30 in the morning.
That's when I unfollowed after those stopped coming. I was like, oh, now he's just back to selling real estate.
I got a lot. I got a lot
to look forward to in the morning.
They're all about those. So I feel like I haven't been there with him the last couple of days, and he shouts me out and calls me out. But then I go like an hour later, so I don't know what that call out's about. But you know what? I think I have to get back with him because the people want to see it.
Well, and Edgar told
people what they want.
Edgar told me that I posted something recently, and he said
he's wait a second, he's gonna be so happy that we're talking about him.
I know he's gonna be so excited.
I think I said would you do this or would you do that, and he said I wouldn't do anything in that outfit. I need to take you to the mall and go shopping for clothes.
Bro,
I said fine.
He's the first one that loves.
Shout out to your black shoes.
Yeah, shout out to my black shoes I'm wearing right now. All of a sudden I take a picture in the mirror just to show him this new shirt that was made, and all of a sudden he just calls out my shoes in the group chat with 15 people, like, who's gonna get this kid a new pair of shoes? And I'm like, bro, I got these things from Aldo like 3 months ago. Like, what's wrong? Bro, you need the white Nikes, you need this and that. And I'm like, and I think
he actually said those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this.
Freaking guy.
So I'm gonna peel off now and let you guys wrap everything up. I appreciate you guys having me on here, and congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
And
Thanks.
I'm sure it's not the last time that we're gonna see each other. And if this ends up being the Whatchamacallit podcast, I'm happy to come back whenever you guys are inviting me.
What's it called?
The
Name's
Whatchamacallit.
in the construction. It's under construction. All right, thanks,
awesome.
Al.
Thank you.
No, but for the most part, first off, we're gonna have to crop the Edgar stuff out of here.
He might have to, bro.
He's gonna blow up his head. He's like, oh, he thought
Yeah, get me on there on the next
we'll
one.
get him on.
And
But,
then Roy's gonna fight with him about getting on here.
I mean, obviously, big things to come.
Look at this form that all of a
Look at
sudden
that
now he's the
process.
only one on the
Yeah,
couch.
takes the whole
And now he's
space,
got the
bro.
form going. Hey, how we doing?
Shout out Lev. Lev's coming to kick us off. But
I got somewhere to be.
Whatchamacallit pending episode 1 here with the Serhant boys. We'll be back. We'll be promoting events. I don't know why Sal didn't want to mention Workaholics this year, but I'll throw a subtle.
Yeah, he did say something
slow
was in
promo.
the works, so maybe it was like a coming soon. Like,
We got video content scheduled. Again, the villain, and just I'm gonna have to start doing podcasts. Be like, hey guys, this is not my real personality. Sal actually, I'm on his team, and I'm technically the villain for this. But we will be in touch. I'm sure this won't be the last time you guys are here. We will keep you updated on all and everything Serhant, and thanks for listening in.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, one last thing. I think brainstorming, for this podcast, coming up to it, I think we kind of want to really structure it or go in a direction where it's not just going to be, like we were saying before, so robotic, and it's like you're scrolling through Instagram, it's the same thing over and over. I don't know if it's because we follow a lot of realtors that we probably see it so often. Maybe not everybody else sees that, but I guess it's going to help us because we're going to be like, we don't want to do
we don't
that,
want to.
So like, and I think we're going to try to do it in a way where we're going to try to bring other people in here from other businesses.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Like local
South Shore, Long Island, and target it that way so that
Ryan Serhant.
That's the goal. Yeah, exactly.
Whenever you're free.
But to help those businesses and to help ourselves. I think it'll be fun.
And I wasn't to play devil's advocate here on your thing. I'm like, it's also a lot worse for us on social media because, like, I would say 80% of my followers are realtors,
exactly.
bankers, attorneys. So like my friends at home, they'll see my shit and be like, oh, this just ain't being annoying again. But we got 50
we
people.
We see it every single second that we're on this.
They're watching. All right, Lev, call it a day.
Appreciate it. Thank you.